it off.
Oh, you just kicked it off? Okay. All right, remind everyone, this meeting's being recorded. All votes, taken will be roll call votes as, this is a remote meeting. And at this time, I'm gonna do a roll call of the committee members for attendance. The ones that are present.
Lonnie Tenio here.
Liana,
Here.
Ann Meza,
Here.
Bill Ambrosino here. And actually, we do not have a quorum, so.
Need one more.
Yeah, we will as soon as
Brendan,
Brendan shows up.
we'll announce that Brendan said he'll be late, but he will be attending. All right, so Gabe, I'll let you kick it off.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming on tonight. So I was saying before the meeting, I think today will be, I know Bill has something to get to. I think today will be kind of a light meeting. I was hoping to close out Article 3 today, but the remaining part of Article 3 is basically the open space communities bylaw, which upon review with staff last week, I think it's going to require significant revisions. I think the first thing is just that in terms of how it's laid out, it's not very, I guess, logically laid. I hate to say it's not logically laid out, but it doesn't flow very well for like what the process of doing an open space community could look like. So I think reorganizing it will be like the first thing we're going to do, and then it's going to require quite a bit of I think there's like going to be a bit of rewriting and just kind of reformatting things so it's a little more legible. But because I think in either in 2 weeks or 4 weeks, depending on how much Jane and I can get done on it, I think we do want to bring a revision to the committee. So I think today, because this is such a significant bylaw, we'd like to get any feedback from people in town about because I think neither Jack or Dylan has had. I don't know if either of you have had a ton of experience with it. Just in your time at Mendon, if that many people have gone for it. So any improvements we can make to it, I think we'd like to get committee feedback.
We've actually done a few open space developments.
Okay.
So we have experience with it.
Okay. So
Yeah, I'll just say it, whenever it was put in, the original bylaw, was written, but then as we used it, there was all these holes in it, and so things got added on, so it's kind of cobbled together, just so developers knew what they were supposed to do. But every subdivision that's come in since then, or every developer that's wanted to do a subdivision has done an open space subdivision. So I think that's positive.
That's cool.
Yeah, we've done a pretty good job of handling them, so.
Okay, so I think we'll go through it now. I can screen share. We have some notes. I think the big structural change we're looking at is, so currently as it's written, the bylaw requires a sketch plan and then a site plan review process and then a subdivision process. Jack, correct me if I'm wrong here, but so I think the main thing was making sure that those steps are in the correct order.
I think what it requires a preliminary plan and then a definitive plan.
Okay. Or Jack, you're muted.
Bill, I've only done that Muddy Brook one in Mendon. But they come in and they have to show you how they could build it as a regular subdivision. And then once you approve that,
they got to do a comprehensive sketch, which shows us the amount of lots they could get under a comprehensive plan, and then they have to do the definitive plan.
Yeah, and a lot of towns call that a yield plan. It doesn't matter what you call it. It's all the same thing.
Yeah.
So I just meant it should be in order. They get the preliminary plan done, then they do the open space plan.
Yeah, sometimes, we skip the preliminary plan process because the applicant has all their engineering done and they're ready to go directly to the definitive plan. So it ends up, that the preliminary plan is not really necessary. Um, so, but the yield plan, as you would call it, is required.
Okay, so I'll screen share, but it might be helpful for everyone in the committee to kind of, I'd like to just get for myself as well for when me and Jane revise this. So I just want to make sure we're really clear about what the different steps of this are. So let me share.
And while Gabe is bringing that up, one of the things I mentioned when we met with Dylan and Jack last week is that some communities such as Amherst are now not requiring the traditional plan for the yield, but they're using a ratio or a calculation to determine it. So it's one less step that the developer has to go through to determine the appropriate number of lots. So I just thought I'd throw that out there in case you have any thoughts on that.
You know,
Well,
I did,
the yield plan has, it's not a matter of just showing, percentage of lots that could be, the yield plan shows developable lots,
right.
so that's kind of a little different, I think. So we just need to decide which way we want to go. I mean, from the planning level, I like the yield plan. Only because if you've got 100-acre parcel, but 50 acres of it's wet, doing a percentage basis would be kind of difficult if they could only develop 50% of the property.
So the idea is that the open space bylaw gives the developer the same amount of lots they would normally be able to build, but with these open space considerations.
Right,
But
and
I haven't seen Amherst plan. I'd be more than happy to take a look at it. I mean, their bylaw, I'd be more than happy to take a look at it and, we can discuss it together.
Yeah.
yeah, I did look at the Amherst one right before. I didn't even know we were going to talk about this the last time we met, but it's a number. You subtract the wetlands, you subtract the buffer areas, and it's a calculation. All right, you can do X amount of lots.
So
And
instead of them drawing a plan, they just base.
that's right. It's a number. Okay,
Yeah.
here's your number.
Yeah, as long
It
as
was-
it's,
I'd never seen anything like that, but I
Yeah, as
guess it
long as it's-
works. I don't know.
yeah, as long as it's backing out the wetlands and stuff. I don't have an issue with that. It just saves the developer having to, engineer an entire plan.
Yeah, I'm a little worried. It might be too much for town meeting. I mean, we could haggle over that number, and I have no idea how Amherst came to that.
You might be right, Jack. The old sentiment is we're changing enough right now. I think going away from the yield plan might be a step too far. Like I say, we always let's walk before we run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe at some future date, we can take a look at that again and make the revisions then, but you may be right. It might be a step too far.
I'm always worried about that.
Yeah, Mendon's a unique town force for sure.
Thank you for your feedback on that. And Gabe, can you just increase the font size a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, the window
Sorry.
size? Yeah. Thank you.
Now,
for sure.
on this section 3, all the things that we kind of left open that you guys are going to reword and stuff, is there any way you can get a copy of that out to everybody?
Yeah, we can. I think Jane and I over the next couple weeks will. There's some outstanding stuff from the section, so I think.
Yeah, just so we can get it wrapped up. I want to really start
Yeah.
wrapping some of this stuff up.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think the first thing, Jane Jane recommended changing agricultural to agriculture because it fits the tense of that sentence. We thought for 8, so this is kind of silly. And I think it's helpful because it's clarifying of what the purpose of this bylaw is. For 8, so all the other clauses under purpose and intent are positive, but this one is negative. So we thought it would make sense to kind of identify what we are protecting with this bylaw. So looking at, instead of not intended to make undevelopable land developable, which we also found just a little confusing. I think Dylan pulled this, but basically some sort of phrasing of to protect sensitive lands such as wetlands, outcroppings, and steep slopes that could be expanded to existing landscape features, including forests, farm fields, meadows, wetlands, riverfront areas. So, I mean, I don't know if it needs to be that long, but I think
Yeah,
the idea is that
that's from a different section. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's from a different section of the bylaw. I just pulled that quote. I
Okay.
think we use it in the ARMID.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we can sort of take a piece of that. We don't need the whole thing, but it's
Okay.
just, continuing the same like spirit of what
Right.
we're looking for in the other one.
Yeah.
Are you gonna remove the amended stuff from 7?
Yeah. We're gonna do that throughout the bylaw, I think, because like we discussed with the use table, if we kept all those in, it would be kind of for us at least. It made it kind of weird to navigate.
Well, I've never ever seen in anyone else's bylaws.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was a prior town clerk who wanted this
Yeah.
stuff. But I don't think it's warranted within the bylaws.
Okay.
Is it okay to have a list of amendments at the back of the document?
You can do that if you'd like. I mean,
Okay.
We can move them. But
That
also
might
I
be
think
something we ask Ellen too, what she's most
what
interested
would
in.
Ellen prefer?
Yeah,
Okay.
since she's sort of the keeper of the document.
Because I think in most towns it would just be the clerk would have all the old copies.
Exactly, that's what I thought. But if she has some sort of
that's normally how
burning
it always was. But like I said, a prior town clerk,
Right.
she didn't like having to look it up, I guess.
So then again, we're going to relocate all the definitions to section 1.2. For common driveway, we're just going to expand the definition. We have two. We have an example from Chester and an example from Mattapoisett. So we're going to merge those definitions and write a new definition for common driveway.
Okay.
Flag lot, we're going to have a more thorough definition. And we're going to make sure to include pork chop lot because I feel like we always hear that in Mendon.
Yep.
We're going to change soft stormwater management techniques, which I haven't encountered in another bylaw, to just nature-based stormwater management. That's usually that uses some more common nomenclature.
Good.
So then for the applicability section, so Jane, do you want to talk about this?
Let me see. So I was just wondering if it's allowed by right, then what other approval is required by the planning board other than the subdivision? But then I noticed down in subsection 2, it does indicate site plan approval. So I think that answered it, but that is just me thinking out loud or thinking.
Is site plan approval or subdivision?
Subsection 2 says site plan approval.
Yeah, I see that. I'm not sure why we would have site plan approval in there for a subdivision. I'm trying to think of it,
I think
under open space community, community,
so
I'm not sure that,
anything that requires a special permit also requires a site plan review.
Yeah, okay.
according to a different bylaw.
But does this bylaw require a special permit as written?
No,
No,
Oh,
Right.
Okay.
I think that was in lieu of a special permit. I mean, every town I've worked in always had the yield plan under special permit. Not even sure why, but site plan review is fine too. I think you need something. You need something, some permit to allow them to go forward. Whether it's site plan review or a special permit, makes no difference to me.
well, it's as of right, so you wouldn't need a site plan special permit approval.
Yeah, but to go forward with a open space is not as of right.
it is.
It
That
is
was
as
one
of
thing.
right.
Yeah, we were really
is
specific
as of
about
right.
that. We didn't want to have special
So-
permit.
So we did look at the site plan approval section of the bylaw last week, and this would be one of the cases where it's an as of right site plan approval, which I think you guys, Jane and Gabe, we're going to talk about maybe next time or later this time, about how we want to split those up if we still want to keep it split the way it is. But that's like a bigger topic.
yeah,
I'm just
Yeah.
not sure site plan approval applies in this case.
If it's a
Probably
as of
doesn't.
right, it's an as
an
of
as of
right
right.
use. So then there's a
Yes.
site plan approval for as of right uses. We do have that mechanism right now.
it's called an administrative site plan review.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
So it
Well,
does
we can
exist
leave
right
that, I
now. Yeah. So I think it's a bigger question once we get to that point, and then we might want to circle back. But it's kind of,
Yeah.
we need to have that conversation before we even discuss it here, I think.
Okay, so put a hold on this subsection.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
We will. So yeah, I think generally we're going to look at some of these paragraphs are quite long. So just looking at breaking up some of these clauses and sections. And then I think this is where we kind of I think it would be helpful to so Jack and Dylan, when we were talking about reorganizing this section, were we specifically talking about reorganizing the submittals section so that it was in order? Is that, I think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And so just as someone who obviously hasn't done a development under this plan before, my understanding of the order is that you start off with what you can call it a yield plan. And that will determine
The number of lots.
yeah. So we start off with the yield plan, and then is that different from the sketch plan, or is that the same
No.
thing?
Yeah,
They're the
no, it's the
same
same
thing.
thing.
Okay, okay. That's how I have it in my notes. And then we do the site plan review process.
That is the site plan review process.
Okay. So
Well,
yield
then we
plan
do the
is
definitive plan from there,
okay.
or
And
the preliminary plan, but like I said.
so there's also there's three parts of this.
Well, yeah, like I said, in the past, we've foregone the preliminary plan because they were already in definitive stage. So
Okay.
we moved right to the definitive plan, but
So it
normally
would
what it would be is a yield plan, a preliminary plan, then a definitive plan. But in many applications, you can forego the preliminary plan if they're fully prepared with engineering for a definitive plan.
okay. And so what would be the distinction between the preliminary plan wouldn't have full engineering is the main thing?
Yeah, it's usually
Correct.
not. Yeah, it's not ready for prime time.
Okay.
So the theory is this, Gabe, if I wanted to try to get an open space subdivision, I come in with a sketch plan, yield plan, whatever you want, a preliminary plan, they're all the
Yeah.
same. and I come in front of the board under site plan review, and I show them the yield plan. If they agree, they approve it. And then you apply for the open space subdivision.
Correct.
Okay.
And like Bill said, if they really got their act together, they waive the site plan review and just jump.
Okay.
I can
So
help you if you want to at least take a shot at reformatting this. I'd be glad to
Yeah.
take another look at it.
Okay. Yeah, that might be helpful. All right. So
And like, and you know, and once again, we can refer to other communities. I mean, a lot of towns have the open space bylaw now, so it's not
Mhm.
like there isn't a,
yeah. So I think the idea is that we'd move sketch plan. So yeah, for me, it's a little confusing just because we have yield plan and sketch plan.
well, they're calling, I guess the current bylaws calling the sketch plan the conceptual preliminary plan.
Right. So we need to get that all under one title, whatever it is. I don't care what we call it, but it's
Yeah.
always the same.
Yeah,
So I guess 3 and 4 are talking about
what's
no,
needed.
they're talking about different things. So
Yeah.
yeah, so okay. So yeah, this is kind of what I'm getting at is that I'm
Yeah, I
I-
see
I
what
mean-
I see what you're saying. It's kind of confusing because all those steps really aren't necessary. So we've
Yeah.
got, I think we've got to narrow down exactly what we need.
yeah.
And
Liana?
Yeah, so you know, again, I definitely defer to Bill and others who have worked in this bylaw way more closely as to what's needed for edits. But as we're talking through this and I'm seeing all the stuff you're talking about revising and having to reconfigure, I wonder, and this may have been what Bill was hinting at, is it easier to start from scratch with a more current version of open space bylaw from another town and then make it work for Mendon? Or this seems like it might be a more difficult process to kind of take what we have existing and, you know, make it right. I don't know if that makes sense to you. So
Yeah.
bring it out there.
I mean, I think in terms of presenting something for town floor, I mean, I think you could just redline the whole thing and then put in a new version that is a heavily edited version of this, kind of based on the current process, just to kind of you don't need to have okay, this is shifted up, this is shifted down, blah 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 blah. Just have here's the new one.
I think you'd be better off in front of the town. I mean, the town I don't think is going to object to us just reformatting. You know, then to rewrite the entire section. I think the town would be fine with,
Yeah.
as long as we're achieving the same principle.
Yeah. So, Leon, I think I agree in that we could look at how other towns just lay it out, but in terms of the substance, I don't know. Based on that's kind of what I wanted to get at too today is if there's anything substantive we wanted to change,
Well,
or
just
if we're
in some of the most important stuff is what Ann has added to lay out the requirements for the you know, for them handing off the conservation land or the open space.
okay.
So Ann's got some stuff built in there specifically that we have to make sure that we transpose into the new bylaw.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. I mean that's kind of what I'm trying to get at is that we maintain the substance of the bylaw, but just
Yeah.
move it around. But I do think from presenting something, I mean, I think I'd rather just see it. Okay, we just rewrote the whole thing, but it's the same but better. Rather
Yeah.
than okay, like we're gonna like if it ain't broke, etc.
Yeah.
All right. I think that so for then we just have some small changes, but I think this gives us a good starting point for revising this section. And we'll be meeting next week, so we can kind of staff will be, so we can I think Jane and I can try to have something ready to show to Jack and Dylan next week.
All
I
right,
guess is
if we can start locking up, I'm getting a little nervous because we're getting to the end of February here.
absolutely.
If we can start locking up some of this stuff in section 3,
Yeah,
I greatly appreciate it. And I'd like you, before we meet, I'd like you to get something out to the group so
Yeah.
everybody can review it so we can go through it quickly during the meeting.
absolutely. Yeah.
I think we spend a lot of time, talking through the change, when if people had an opportunity to absorb it before the meeting, we can move a lot quicker.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we can try to get something done like next Friday so that you guys will have the weekend to look at something.
All right,
Cool.
cool beans.
I think that's it on our end for tonight. We do have stuff we need to bring back from section 3. And I think the next after this, I believe, is we're going to be looking at the site plan review section. Which I think is Article 4.
Yes.
So I guess if there's anything people have to say, and again, like just without kind of having time to think about it, for people who are on boards in town, is there anything about the site plan review process you want me and Jane to kind of keep an eye out for when we're reviewing Article 4?
Not particularly. I think the site plan review process works pretty well, but I mean, you can make your suggestions as usual, and if you see anything inordinate, but
Okay.
the site plan review process has never really been bothersome. So,
Okay.
that it?
I think that's it for tonight.
All right, we just need to set the next meeting date, I guess.
So real quick, do you want to, do we want, we've got a quorum, do we want to approve the minutes that we currently have, or does everybody want a minute to look them over?
Um,
They came right out of the transcription, so.
no, I think I mean,
Jeremy'd like that.
they look good to me.
I mean, yeah, I mean, without myself, and personally, without, I'm gonna,
I'd be more,
I mean, they should be pretty simple. We discussed this section and,
Yeah.
we haven't made a lot of votes we did in the beginning. I think those ones are 100% correct, but so I would so I believe everybody has the one from, let's see, for the meeting of 12/3/2024, that we had for a while. So I'll make a motion to accept the meeting minutes of 12/3/2024. Hold on. February 4th, 2025. Oh, 12/3 is in that list. Sorry. I had looked at it separately. Come on. January 21st, 2025, and January 7th, 2025.
Yep.
I just need a second.
Second.
Well, their motion again was to approve the minutes from 12/3, 1/7, 1/21, and 2/4. Is that the motion?
Hold on. 1/7, 1/21, 2/4, and 12/3.
And I have a second already from Liana. All those in favor?
Tenio, aye. Liana?
Ambrosino, aye.
Can
Liana?
I say a conditional aye to the ones I was actually present at?
Sure.
Because I think I missed one of them. So aye to those I was present at.
Brendan?
I'm looking them over.
I just looked at them. They look pretty good, actually. Matt did a nice job.
I'll defer to Ann at the moment. If
Yeah,
she's
give me a
done with
sec.
them.
We had some meetings prior to this. We're gonna have to figure out where those minutes are. I know there
No,
were minutes.
they're coming. They're coming. We should have them all next week.
Okay, all right. So at least we can get these posted.
There's a, so can I have a comment real quick? A lot of
Yep.
these,
Yes.
some of these have quite a bit of transcript in it. Do we want to condense that at all? Or are we comfortable with them as it is?
I'm reviewing them now. I'm pretty comfortable. I mean, I think, the more information you give, the better you are. So I don't think, these are minutes, then, they're not really file documents.
Okay, if everyone else is okay with it, I don't think it's an issue. I just think there's a lot of like things like discussion, like yes and and all the other words that go along with it.
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, I see what you're saying now. I guess I never scrolled down on this one.
Yeah,
So let's hold on.
I don't
Let-
disagree.
hold on. Let me let's do this. Can I amend the motion? I'm gonna pull out the January 7th one. Let us fix that one. So it would be the new motion would be for 12/3, 2/4, and 1/21. And we'll fix the other one.
I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, because the other ones look fine. I'm looking
Yep.
through the other ones now. The other ones look fine.
Leon, are
Alright.
you okay? Leon, would you second that if you don't mind?
Yes, I second that. Yep.
All right, and then
All right, all those in favor?
Tenio, aye. Liana, go ahead.
Aye to the ones I was present at.
Brendan,
You know,
and
Mazer, aye.
Ambrosino, aye.
all right. Thanks,
All right.
everybody.
thank
And
you.
then we just need to set the next date, which I presume everybody's comfortable with in 2 weeks.
Well, we have one other quick question. Just because it's been so long, do I just send the approved ones to
Ellen.
sorry, Ellen? I'm assuming.
What about Ellen?
I think I send the approved
Yeah,
ones
send
to. I'm
them
going to
to
send
Ellen.
it to Ellen as well as our entire.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Yeah, Dylan, if you could just follow up and make sure they get posted, I'd appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, so what's the date 2 weeks from now? Where's my calendar?
March 4th, I believe.
March 4th?
Yep.
Everybody good with March 4th?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
All
Then,
right. And
Denise-
Jane and I,
go ahead.
Jane and I will get you the outstanding stuff from section 3 by the end of next
Yeah,
week.
just give us an opportunity to look it over so we can go through the meetings quicker. I'd like to do
Absolutely.
this as a format going forward when we get, these updates done, get them out to everybody so when we get
Okay.
together in the meeting, we can really knock these out.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'll remind everybody, no deliberation between the entire group. If you're gonna send something back to Gabe, send it to Gabe or you can send it to Gabe, Jack, Dylan, and Jane, but nobody else.
Motion
We
to
don't want
adjourn.
any open meeting violations.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
All those in favor?
Tenio, aye.
Leon Moore,
Mazer,
aye.
aye.
All right, guys, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Good
you.
night.